And welcome back to Skyhawk Sports Talk. Gregory here. With me, Chris Brinkley, yet another episode here at Zaxby's in Martin, Tennessee. A very exciting one. Got a couple student athletes on, also another faculty member, and of course, head football coach Jason Simpson will join us at the end of the program. Want to get into this weekend Skyhawk athletics first. Equestrian, they will face off against number 1 Auburn at 10 a.m. on Saturday. That is going to be at home in the agricultural complex. Make sure to get out for that one before the football game.
That's a big deal. I'm going to go back to that. Number 1.
That's a huge deal. Number 1 Auburn will come to town. Rifle will be at Memphis at 9 a.m. on Saturday, and then versus Jacksonville State in Murray, Kentucky on Sunday. After that, then softball has got a scrimmage against Murray State at 4:30 on Wednesday. You've got soccer having their senior day, their final home game versus SEMO at 2 p.m. on Sunday. That'll be on ESPN+. Golf right now competing at the Latour Intercollegiate at Latour Country Club in Matthews, Louisiana. That is today and tomorrow. Follow along with live stats for that one. You've got volleyball against Southern Indiana tomorrow at home in Skyhawk Fieldhouse as UT Martin wraps up a homestand against the Screaming Eagles. That's going to be at 6 again on Tuesday. That'll be on ESPN+. And then they'll head to Western Illinois this weekend and play the Leathernecks at 6 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. Both of those games will be on ESPN+. And football will wrap up this week, and then soccer, of course, begins at next Sunday. But football against Eastern Illinois at 2 p.m. on Saturday, ESPN+. And we'll have the call on Skyhawk Sports Network with pregame starting at 1:30. Another jam-packed week that we've got going on here at UT Martin.
And with football, it's family weekend, too.
Yes, family weekend. Yeah. Completely forgot about that. Going to be a very fun-filled weekend and a very fun week here in UT Martin athletics. We will take a break, and when we come back from the UT Martin Equestrian team, student-athlete Logan Putvinski will join us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And we're back here on Skyhawk Sports Talk at Zaxby's in Martin, Tennessee. Gregory here with Chris Brinkley. Now joining us from the UT Martin Equestrian team, student-athlete Logan Putvinski from Knoxville, Tennessee. Great to have a fellow Knoxville person here. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are y'all?
You're doing good. What class we get you out of today? You got a clear schedule today, or what's going on in your world?
Coach gave us off practice today, we're clear on that, and I don't have class till 1.
Oh, my gosh. That's money right there.
Yeah.
That is the perfect schedule.
So usually early in the day you're working on your sport, right?
Yeah.
What time is practice in the morning?
I normally get to the barn at 8, and I ride from 9 to 10, and then an hour on the backside, and then I have a little bit of a break, and then class.
Okay. I was telling Chris, a fellow Knoxville person here, I'm fired up. And you went to Farragut and lived in Farragut, too. And talk about, I guess, your high school experience and growing up, and I guess your love for equestrian as you started there in high school and childhood, too.
Yeah. The sport of equestrian is really big in Knoxville, but it's more focused on the jumping seat side and the English side. So I started out with that, and then when I was like a freshman in high school, I moved to the reining, and that wasn't as big back in Farragut. So I moved out a little bit more to Madisonville area, and that's where I really got involved in that.
And I have a Knoxville question. First of all, so both of you are from Knoxville, right?
Yeah. 865 represent.
Yeah. Tell us something about Knoxville that he would know, and say something that she would know, but everybody else probably here wouldn't know.
Oh, recently?
Yeah, just any time.
Okay,
yeah,
the traffic.
We are
oh, my gosh, I was going to say that, too.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh.
What's been the difference?
So when I first moved to Knoxville, I was like in 4th grade and it wasn't as big, but there's been a real big shift from people moving to California, and they've been targeting the Knoxville area a lot.
Right.
And the amount of traffic is insane.
Yeah. Turkey Creek used to be just, so easy to get through. Obviously it was Knoxville traffic, but it wasn't like bad. And then you try to get on the interstate, and I go to church down on Kingston Pike, and it's like a 30-minute drive when it would be 15 minutes.
Look at the two Knoxvillians nodding
It's
there.
terrible. Yeah. I'm trying to think of
so
one.
So it's worse than the traffic in Martin, Tennessee?
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Holy cow. Yeah. I complain about a drive to Union City being long, and then I go back home, I'm like, all right, it's not that bad. because
we were talking earlier, Tennessee football game, you have 100,000 people there. What's traffic like after that?
insane. I stay away from the interstate.
Yeah.
No, oh yeah, you have to go down
Yeah.
all the back roads now and everything like that because traffic's terrible.
One more question, then we'll get to real questions. So if you live in that area, if you're in East Tennessee, people from West Tennessee always go to the mountains to watch the leaves change, and they go to Gatlinburg, they go to Pigeon Forge, and they go to Maryville, and they go to Cates Cove, and they go to all these places. If you live in Knoxville, does it ever cross your mind to go to Dollywood or any of those places, or is it only people from West Tennessee?
I've been there. It's been a one and done thing for me. I'm not a huge fan of it, but it's a one and
That's
done.
so funny that people. It's like when the effort takes a lot, you appreciate it more, and whenever it's just right in your backyard.
Oh yeah, well, okay, I've got one because
Okay.
you asked me about one thing that she would understand that I would understand.
Yeah.
It's not Knoxville related, but Pigeon Forge is the Panama City of Tennessee.
100%. 100%.
I don't even know. Now we're on a podcast, so we might have some Pigeon Forgians watching.
Well,
But what
and
exactly do you mean?
So Pigeon Forge is just this because like Panama City in Florida,
Yeah.
it is just it's a overhyped tourist
It's just
destination
touristy, yeah.
that it's not even like Tennessee at all. It's just like you put all these random stores in there and they've got,
But they have good fudge.
well, good for them, but that's not like
You can buy pottery.
I can buy fudge at Rural King down there and get it done.
Okay, we got.
Yeah, okay, we'll move to
I love
questions.
this though. Now, yeah.
Yeah, well now all my Knoxville
we
stuff
have
is
a
out now.
fly from
I s-
Pigeon Forge who's upset with
Yeah,
us.
he's upset right now. He's fired up that we're dogging on Pigeon Forge and Panama City kind of, but they're used to it. So now sport questions. Senior on the team this year, 4-0 in reining this season, and it's been one of our best events. And you're really the leader of that group. How has that gone this season?
Our squad has been amazing. It's something I couldn't compare to, like our camaraderie and all. We're always there for everyone. We want it for each other. And we had a big change losing Emma, but Elise has stepped in so many great ways, and I'm so thankful to have her on our squad and everyone else, and it's just amazing.
Just wrapped up the weekend against UC Davis and Oklahoma State, who's nationally ranked. How did that go?
It went amazing. Reining went 4-1 against UC Davis, and then we went 2-3. We had a little bit of a change there with the re-ride, but all of our girls handled it amazingly, and it was amazing.
All-American in 2022, 2023. What was going right for you in this season? What are you looking to build on also as you come into this year as well?
I went out there and I just rode that season, and then last season I kind of put a lot of pressure on me, and so going into this season, I'm going back to that mindset. We're just having fun. It's my last year. Go out there, ride. We all know what we have to do. We're here because we all can ride, so it's just that mindset that we all have to focus
That's
on.
neat that you figured that out because you can be focused without pressure. But it's a skill. Yeah. How do you do that now?
It's just kind of like we all know how to ride. We all come here because we know how to ride. You just have to sit back and just have fun and just take a breath. I always go in and I shake it out right before I go in.
Yeah.
And it's just taking that breath and knowing that you can ride. You're all here for a reason, and just go in and get it done. Do what you can.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that before our next broadcast. Shake it out, and then I'm going to steal that tactic, Logan. I'm going to. So we talked about how you grew up equestrian and started doing that in Knoxville, where it is big. Equestrian is huge. But what made it interesting to you as a kid and getting involved in that?
So my sister started out riding when she was really, really young, and then we actually lived overseas in Germany for a couple years, and she worked on dressage out there. And we moved back to New Jersey because that's where I'm originally from. And then when we went to Tennessee, I decided, I was like, you know what? She looks like she's really good at that. I want to do that. So she rode collegiately for Virginia Tech, and then I got into it, and my horse had like the little reining buttons on it. And I thought I wanted to jump because that's what she did. So I started that out, and then I was like, no, I'm not good at this. So I went into the reining world, and I've stuck with it since.
We spent 10 minutes talking about Knoxville. We could have talked about Germany and New Jersey.
Yeah,
Come
what
on.
in the world? We could have talked about that. So what happened in, Germany and then New Jersey and then, leading it all here to UT Martin?
It would be my dad's job. So I grew up in New Jersey, and then his job took us overseas. And then we moved back, and then his job also took us here to Tennessee, and I never want to go up north again. I'm very happy with Tennessee.
Okay. Yeah. How about Germany? Would you go back? Do you remember Germany?
I was really young. I was about 3. I remember it here and there, and I really would like to go back to Europe when I graduate just to, like, experience once again. You know what I mean?
Sightsee and everything like that. Coach texted me, your nickname Lopo.
Yes.
Is that from the Mexican restaurant down the street, or is that just because it's Logan and then
That's
your
the
first part of your
funniest
name?
thing you've ever said.
What? I mean, that's what they call the Mexican restaurant down the street, is Lopo. Is that what it's from, or is that just your name?
No, so Emma, who graduated last year, who was on the running squad and the horsemanship squad with us, started that nickname, and it just came from I was Lo as my nickname, and then Putvinski, so she put Lopo together, and then now it's changed to Po.
Yeah.
Like the panda from Kung Fu
Yes.
Panda. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
See, look, I'm making all the connections today. I can figure it out. I'm on top of my game. But so you go from Lopo to what do you prefer?
They just call me Po now. That's
Okay,
fine.
you're just like whatever, just
Yeah.
whatever makes the team play best. Chemistry work. She's a team player. She's a team player, Chris. 100%. What's your favorite part about this year's group that you all have together right now?
So we always say, when the freshman class comes in, it's a little bit like weary. Everyone has to find their places, but the freshman class, we've all established, we've all come in, and we're just this huge family. There hasn't been that weariness. There hasn't been any of that, and I think that's probably the biggest thing is that huge culture and that dynamic that we have together.
Yeah, we've heard your team members talk about that too. It sounds pretty amazing.
Yeah.
We told we had Aubrey on and talked about having a family reunion or whatever reunion dinner.
Yeah.
Y'all gotta keep that going. Y'all gotta get that
that's
going
right.
and do that. Chris came up with that idea, so give him credit for that one.
This pigeon forged fly.
It's killing me. It's killing me.
Yeah.
I feel, oh my gosh! I shouldn't have even said anything because now it's after us. So graduate from Farragut, then come to UT Martin. Why UT Martin? Why was this the school?
So mostly it was because of the equestrian program. I looked at a few other schools, but I came to camp here, and I went to camp to a few other places, and I just fell in love with it. Me and Coach had a great connection, and then the size, I love how small Martin is, and I feel the connection with my professors one-on-one. I feel like I can go to them. Definitely, if I went to Knoxville, I would not have that, and so I was,
Okay.
And that's what I tell everybody too, is like the connection between your professor. You're not getting that anywhere else.
No.
So you like it. So how long did it take it for you to adjust from when you come from Knoxville, where it's just skyrocketed, to now you're in Martin? How long did that take you to adjust to?
So I think the biggest thing was my high school was pretty big, and it was probably 30 kids in each class, and then my biggest class was probably freshman year, my art class, where we had 30 or 40 kids, and so it was kind of weird where I would go into a college class and there'd be less people than I would have in my high school class. But I really appreciate it.
Kind of puts a little more pressure on you actually to participate.
Yeah.
You get singled out more questions.
Now,
come
I had a
your way.
class one time with 6 students, and I was, it made me nervous. I would rather be in a class with 50 because then you just blend in.
Oh, I kind of enjoyed the 6 little students.
Well, I did too after I accepted it because then you get more one-on-one attention, which is kind of what UT Martin is all about.
100%. So a student worker for athletics as well with us too, so you spend time around athletics a lot. Really though, what's your favorite part about being in Martin?
It would probably be the no traffic for one.
Yes, that is one for sure.
But being able to just drive down the road to my teammate's house and being able to have everyone else like know who you are, kind of, you know what I mean, and that camaraderie with all the people who are in Martin.
So not only are we taking on number 1 Auburn on Saturday, we'll get to that in a second. You can give your speech to get people out there, but Trick or Trot is coming up on Saturday too. That's going to be 9 to 11 a.m. Tell us more about that.
So that is a great way for our community to come out and understand our sport a little bit more. There'll be face painting, goodie bags, a costume contest, which is pretty cool.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's a great way for the kids to come meet the ponies and then the parents to experience our sport and get to watch that. So we're really excited for that.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome. Again, that's 9 to 11 on Saturday, and then Auburn, number 1 Auburn comes to town. Talk about y'all's approach to this weekend. I know faced Auburn, I think last year, and almost got them. How do you all make those adjustments and make sure you come out on top on Saturday?
So this past weekend, we had a great win against UC Davis, and then we had a hard battle against OSU, and we all had our struggles, and I think we all have identified that, and we're ready to hit the ground running against Auburn. We gave them a great shaking in their boots last time, and I think we're all really excited about that. Our team has, like I've said, this great camaraderie and this great culture, and that really sets us apart from them. And so when we host, we really strive on that. and strive on leaning on each other's backs, because that's not something that all the other bigger teams have.
I have to ask you this about hosting. You have a lot more responsibilities, I suppose, when you host, but you also have to have an advantage because you know the conditions more. In other sports, sometimes football, let's say a 7-point advantage just being at home, and in basketball, maybe 5 to 10. What are the advantages in your sport? How can you break it down for us?
So we know our home horses really well, and that's probably the biggest advantage, is being to understand their quirks. They all have quirks, and so going in and being prepared for that quirk. And then the atmosphere. I mean, it can be kind of struggling for some other teams to come into a coliseum, because it's like some horses don't do great in a coliseum, so that can be a little nerve-wracking for them. But it's mostly us knowing our horses and knowing how to handle them.
Which would be great to take advantage of this advantage with this opportunity against the number 1 team.
And again, it's your horses, though, that they have to ride. Do you ever tell, like, Frappe or somebody, like, hey, if you buck them off, like, I'll give you, like, some extra food once we get done, you know?
No, it's a very kind, it's an elegant sport.
Oh, okay.
It's like golf.
It is elegant.
There's
but
etiquette.
But she said
it's competitive, too.
Yeah, sometimes. So Cobra is one of our reigning horses, and he's always for the Hawks. And so sometimes I whisper in his ear, and I'm like, just remember, you're for the Hawks.
I knew it.
Just for the Hawks.
It's very subtle, but yeah.
Yes, exactly. You have to remind them.
Mhm.
You're for the Hawks on this one. Come on now.
We're
not
for the Hawks.
Always we're for the Hawks. Accounting major, you are. What's the plan after graduation? This is always our last question we give to everybody.
So I will actually graduate in December, and I'm hoping to maintain my MBA here.
2 months?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'll be hoping to get my MBA. That'll put me at 150 credit hours, and then I'll be planning to take my CPA.
Fantastic.
Nice.
Absolutely awesome. Well, Logan, thanks so much for coming on, and good luck there on Saturday against Auburn. And we will take a break. When we come back, we'll have Brooke Kalla from UT Martin Soccer join us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And we're back here on Skyhawk Sports Talk. Davis Gregory with Chris Brinkley now joining us from the UT Martin soccer team. And Jody's fired up about this one. Jody's happy. It's Brooke Kalla, midfielder for the Skyhawks, a senior, 4th year on the team. Brooke, thanks so much for joining us.
Of course. I'm happy to be here.
I've been looking forward to this one, Chris, because I keep hearing stories about Brooke's personality from all of her teammates. And so I'm hoping we get, the
personality. No pressure.
the main personality, for not the, kind of shy one that I knew the first year. I'm looking forward to just Brooke laying it all out there this time.
Brooke, you got to carry this segment.
Yes, you do. You have to carry us to victory on this one, which you all won these past 2 matches. So good winning streak going and shutouts as well. Going to Western Illinois, that's a long road trip.
Yeah.
And then Eastern Illinois as well, a very good team, and you all get shutouts in both of those matches. And just talk about, 2 huge wins, especially with the postseason coming up.
Oh, yeah. It was good. I mean, I'm from Illinois, so maybe Illinois is the lucky state.
And beat SIUE, too.
Yeah.
So all the wins have come in Illinois.
I didn't even think about that, but Illinois is a good place to be.
Where are you from in Illinois?
Northern Illinois, like an hour outside of Chicago.
North or towards Iowa?
Like an hour west of Chicago.
Okay,
so,
gotcha. Yeah.
No, that's good. But 2 really good wins and 6 points too. You can't complain much about that when you don't give up a goal as well along with that. And talk to me, what changed from that Lindenwood game? Again, they're one of the best teams in the league. They'll play for a championship on Sunday. But what changed from that game and then coming into these next 2 matches where you all shut out your opponent and get the wins?
I don't know exactly what changed, but when I was on the field, I think as I was playing the last 2 games that we won, I could just feel like a difference in our team. Like there was a grit and determination that I could feel with everyone. Our coach before last game talked about how we need to start working like Clydesdale horses. Like you can pull more weight if you're all working together. And I felt like the last 2 games, everyone kind of picked up their role on the team, and they helped produce some wins, which I think we might have been lacking with Lindenwood, but I think we're getting stronger and better and knowing our role on the team, and it's been good.
That's
so.
a great description. I've always, you know, as a broadcasters, we watch body language a lot, and you could kind of tell where the teams are emotionally, and you can tell who's on the same page. But what you described, I almost feel like it's kind of a frequency.
Yeah.
And it's like tuning in a radio, and when everybody's
Yeah.
on the same channel or a television, things are better because then you're at that common goal for you to actually feel that.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you stay tuned into that frequency?
I think if we just keep with the same energy and the same goals, I think if we all are locked in before every game and don't drop off or don't focus on things that don't really matter, or I think if we focus on ourselves and what we can do and what we've shown that we can do in the last 2 games, we'll be able
I
to
agree.
just stay on the same wavelength.
And when the leaders are there, I think that others will be there
Yeah.
too. Yeah, that's big.
Yeah.
And absolutely. Keep
yeah.
going.
Izzy had a really good goal last game, so I think with her leadership, it shows that we can do some pretty strong things. And then Maki and Naima, those are also 2 of our strong leaders, so I think it's really showing to the young ones what we can do if we all fight really hard and push forward. So
Okay, well said. So senior day coming up this Sunday against SEMO. Obviously senior day, one of the best days, but an emotional one too. And this group that you've been with, a lot of you all were on that 2021 championship team, and right now starting to pick up some steam, starting to get hot here at the end of this season. What are some similarities you see in this team from that squad that you were on in 2021?
For me, in my freshman year when we won, I was playing the same position I am now. Parker was playing the same position she is now, and Izzy is playing the same position she was. So I think with those 3, I just feel very strong and steady, and I think we can do a good job keeping it core, and Maki's in the same spot too. So I think that's a big similarity that we have, because I kind of just look around the field and I know what these girls are capable of, and we can spread the good positivity to our teammates and show we can do this, we've done it before, we can lead this team, and it's good. I like the team, and it's fun to be out there. So.
And now, again, we talked, I think the last person we talked to was Izzy. Did we have the tradition on the bus of the freshmen having to sing? Has that happened?
Yes, it did.
Ooh,
They didn't have a microphone.
Oh. So
but
everyone had to project. How did that go?
We have a fly.
Yeah, we have a
That's
fly
our
that's
friend
going
that's
crazy.
with us the whole podcast.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So how did it go? How did the singing
It
go?
was good.
Yeah.
We had, I think, 4 duets.
4
I don't
duets.
think anybody did a solo.
No.
But it was
Do they
good.
prepare, or do you just throw it on them and say, here you go?
We told them about it, but we've
Yeah.
never had time to do it with everyone there. There's been injuries, and some people couldn't travel, so we had to wait until the time was right. But we got to do it.
What were the songs?
Yeah, I was about to say, what was going on?
So the first song was actually a One Direction song, and then that was the same day that.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
And then I
Oh.
laughed, but I think that would be a tough song to sing for a duet, though.
But they sang it before, and then we got to Western Illinois and found out what happened with Liam.
Yeah.
And then we were like, oh, it was in honor of him.
Yeah,
in
it was.
memory.
It was.
And then 2 of the internationals sang a song in Danish. So
Wow.
that was different, but it was funny.
Yeah.
I don't remember the other 2, but I think one of them was a country song, and it was funny.
What was your song? Did you do this?
I did Stacy's mom with Parker. Yeah.
We talked about
Yeah.
that. That's the funniest thing.
I don't think Parker told us what she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was with
You ready?
Parker.
Stacy's
It's
mom
Stacey-
has
It's
got it going on.
There
Yeah.
We got to be careful because we're royalty
Yeah,
issues with
yeah.
this thing.
We're going to get fined.
That's okay.
$250.
I've forgotten the artist who does Stacy's mom, but it was in honor of you, and we don't need to send you money.
No, yeah, we're not going. You're not getting anything from us. No. Who had the best performance though? If you were a judge, like American Idol or something like that, The Voice.
I think Maki has the best singing voice on our team.
Okay.
Joelle sang last time too. That was really bad.
So, can you sing?
No. I'm just loud and try to make people laugh.
I've been around people who can't sing, but they compensate by being loud.
By just being loud?
Yeah.
That was Joe.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, love it. Absolutely love it. So getting into, I guess, the background with soccer, when did you start playing the game, and when did you start to, I guess, figure out, like, okay, I actually kind of like this?
Yeah. I think I was maybe around 6 or 7. No one in my family plays. I'm a family of 5, and I'm the youngest. So I don't know what made my parents just take me to a soccer practice, but I went one day and I really liked it, and I was on a boys team until like 7th grade.
Oh.
And then my last year of high school, I actually played on the boys team. So I don't know if I just liked the growing up and being able to like play with the boys, but that was fun, and I really liked my coaches. I've had a lot of international coaches, a lot of coaches from Mexico, one from Spain. Phil was from Ireland. I have a lot of Serbian coaches growing up, so yeah.
How about that?
Yeah,
We're just 2 dudes from Tennessee.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, can you speak all those languages?
No, I can't.
When did you know? When did you say, you know what, I might could play Division I college soccer someday? Were you in junior high?
I don't know. Maybe high school. Yeah.
Around those ranks in high school. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked. I think Izzy brought it up. Jordan Riffle has nicknames for everybody on the team. What's your nickname?
I don't think I have one.
What?
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
That is unbelievable.
You seem sad.
Yeah. we just brought that up to her. Now she's like, oh, dang it. Like, I don't have one.
A lot of people call me Cookie. 'Cause
Cookie?
it rhymes with Brookie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Brookie Cookie.
Yeah.
That
Cookie's
works
a
out.
cool nickname.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that works. That works. That can play. That's good. I like that one. Okay. Best memories here, because senior day coming up. Best memories. Well, actually, before I get to that, why did you choose to come to UT Martin? You know, because you're here in your 4th year. Why did you choose to come to UT Martin?
I definitely wanted to play somewhere south of Illinois. I'm not a fan of the cold, so I looked to go any school south of Illinois. And then I'm studying engineering, so I wanted to find a school that had good engineering and soccer.
Yeah.
And I know some high-level Division I schools, they don't let you choose majors like that because it takes your mind off of soccer. So Phil and Leslie, when I got recruited here, they said that they've had girls on the team that have done engineering, and it's not an issue. So I'm glad that I could do that. I think that was one of the main reasons that pulled me to come here, and I'm happy that I chose here. And the weather's always nice. I like the warm weather. Maybe it's a little too hot in the preseason times, but
A little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. It was only 100 degrees one time
Yeah.
before a match.
I have a question. Is that when you got sunburned?
No. That was a
Okay.
couple other weeks
I have
ago.
a question. So with engineering, you're orchestrating and building, right?
yeah.
So does that help you on the soccer field, like to see the play, to orchestrate?
I would say
How do
yes.
those two things go together?
Sometimes, like if we're starting a new drill or something, or we need a certain amount of numbers, Mike will always say, like, where's the engineers?
Oh, yeah.
He's like, put them in the front of the line, because
Yeah.
if they see a new drill, maybe we'll be able to
Yeah.
kind of catch on to it
No, I
faster.
think you probably see the world differently, like
Yeah.
even how this building is put together structurally. What kind of engineering are you focusing on?
Electrical. So when you said frequency wavelengths,
yeah.
I immediately just
Yeah.
thought of like sine waves and
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
That's
Hey,
cool.
You got right on the money there.
it was
on
an
that one.
accident. But no, I do look at the world in frequencies, not necessarily
Yeah.
as an engineer, but just as
But
a
I-
higher level of unity or something.
Mhm.
Now on to that previous question I was about to ask you. Best memories with this group of seniors here. I know that there's still, a win or a draw gets you into the OVC tournament on Sunday and some more soccer to be played. But what are some of your favorite memories with this group?
There's a lot. I feel like every day is just a great day. I really love dancing with the team, singing with the team, laughing. it's definitely awesome after one of like my close friends on the field scores. Like you just run up and give them a hug.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing I'll miss the most when I'm done is like the feeling of just being so happy, so loved, and like laughing so much. So in the locker room.
Don't ever lose that, though. When you grow up, sometimes you
Yeah.
lose that, but don't ever lose
Yeah.
that. Davis hasn't lost it yet.
That's good.
No, you get excited.
Yeah, I
do
do.
well with sports.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. You know, it fires me up.
Yeah.
It does. And the wins fired me up too. That was.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, it's exciting times.
Yeah.
It really is. So, engineering major. Last question for you. What are you going to do with that once you graduate?
I might work for a local government lab close to my house in Illinois.
Oh.
It's called Fermi Lab. Enrico Fermi, he was the guy that kind of helped produce the first atomic bomb, like an Oppenheimer.
Wow.
So it's Fermi Lab, named after him.
Yeah.
So that's where I've done my internships.
Okay.
And I might be able to get a job there after college. If not, I'll just try to find something and get a good electrical
Find another
engineering
year
job.
of eligibility and then play again.
Maybe.
Get another year.
And I've
That'd be
always said,
great.
if you can handle the degree and the athletic part and do it all and time management and discipline and have fun and smile like you are when you're doing it, you'll be successful at anything.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
100%. Brooke, can we do a dab together before we sign up? Yes. Yes. That is so great. Brooke, thanks so much for coming on with us. Good luck on Sunday. We'll be there, and it's going to be a great day. Going to be a great day to be a
It will.
Skyhawk. We will take a break. When we come back, Danelle Fabianich will join us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And back here on Skyhawk Sports Talk, Davis Gregory here with Chris Brinkley. In late October, weather starting to be fantastic here, and another great show that we're having here at Zaxby's in Martin, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Invite everyone to come out.
Yep.
And joining us now from the athletic department, Danelle Fabianich.
Look who we have.
Executive
Danelle.
Senior Associate Athletic Director for Administration, also
Yeah.
the Senior Woman Administrator as well. I
Yes.
think that's the longest title of anyone that we've had on,
right?
too.
It's longer than my name, which is something.
Yeah,
It's also longer than Kurt's title, too, so you got to beat.
Yeah, well.
But going back in athletics, are you so it goes back to 1994.
August of 94
I
is
mean,
when
we're
I
the
started.
OGs. It's Danelle, and then I actually started in 98 with Lee, and then Trudy, and then Bart.
And Jerry's in there.
And Jerry,
Although
definitely.
Jerry came in, he had been at the university for a really long time at the bookstore.
Yeah.
And then he came in. So, yeah, we've had some, but
Because when she was first started, you worked with women's basketball, right?
I was the secretary for women's athletics. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember that, Danelle. And look at you, Danelle.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here we are here.
Yeah.
Here
It's
and
crazy
now.
because I will tell you, time goes fast.
Yeah, and you've seen a lot. I mean, we've seen a lot.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
We have, I'd like to say that we aren't still shorthanded, but we are.
Yeah.
But, back when things were harder to do, we all just stuck in there and did them.
Yeah.
And so it's been fun to watch.
And the other
it
thing
grow.
I want to say about you, and you're different, and it's a good thing, is that Danelle makes an extreme effort to create a lasting relationship with the student athletes that come to UT Martin from all over the world. And I bet your contacts in your phone, you probably have 2,000 or 3,000.
My phone and my Facebook page
Yeah.
are pretty heavy with student athletes or former student
Yeah,
athletes.
and going back to the 90s,
Yeah,
all the way to
absolutely.
current student athletes
Sure.
right now.
And I can't. It's hard because we had soccer last week, and I had a couple soccer players came back with their husbands, and so we had a soccer player who married a basketball player, Amanda Cadell.
Yeah.
And Jason Olson
Yeah.
were here, and then Lydia and Brian Berryman were here, and Berryman was a baseball player. So they came back, and they were my babies a long time ago.
Yeah.
So
To the point where, Davis, and you'll get used to this, but as I've traveled throughout the country in the past 20 whatever years, and I meet people from all over the place who know about UT Martin, they always go, "How's Danelle?"
They know.
Those two words are constant.
that makes me happy.
Yeah.
One of our great ambassadors for our university,
100%.
truly. So you talk about how things have changed. What all have you seen change? What are the biggest changes from when you started in this job to then now here today?
Things have gotten more complicated with the NCAA and the rules and things like that. But we've grown from a couple hundred students to 450, 500 kids, and so we've gotten bigger, but the problems are still the same. We're not always going to have enough money, but we have competed so well with as small as we
I
are.
agree.
I remember Phil Dane used to tell us all the time that if you took all the 1AA football at the time schools, and you take out the historically black schools and the private schools, UT Martin's the smallest in the nation. So
Yeah.
we're really tiny, and we're competing in Division I athletics. And we've had a run of it. We've had times when we've won 6 or 7 championships, and that shouldn't happen with what our budgets and things are. But it's happening.
It's what you said, though. We were forced to be resourceful.
Mhm.
Everyone had to do a little bit more than they probably would have at a bigger school. And because of that, we just believed and bonded. And that's the way the athletic department has been ever since I've been a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, and it always has been that. And people have come and people have gone, but we've all still had to get in the trenches and work really, really hard. And that's probably some of my best memories, is the things that we've pulled off that there's no way we should have been able to pull off.
And I'm going to go back to you again, because you have genuinely cared about our student athletes as if though they were your family. So when they come from away from home and get homesick, they still have
Right.
family.
Well,
and you've been the leader of that. I feel.
I think I decided a little while ago that I had a hug ministry.
Oh,
And kids are kids. Whether it was 1994 or 2024, kids are kids, and they're away from home, and nobody's going to hug them like their mama would.
That's
You
right.
know what I'm saying? Their friends don't hug them like they're, and sometimes they just need a hug, and they need to know that it's going to be okay. And my door's always open. My phone is always on. Anytime they need anything, I'm trying to teach them like I would want somebody to treat my kids
Yeah.
when they're away.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. I've given my card to so many parents, and I'm like, if there's a problem, let me know. I've had calls saying, she's really sick. Would you go get her and take her to the ER because she won't go?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, I will. And so, I want to take care of them because I'll mother them to death.
Yeah.
But
And whatever your title is, that's your legacy.
Right.
That is your legacy.
And what I do on the daily, the work, none of the work is fun. But the people I get to work with and the kids that I get to hang out with, that totally makes it. And it makes me want to come in every single solitary day.
Yeah.
I've been asked many, many times. I mean, I've hit my 30 years at UT Martin, but I've been with the university for 32, and they're like, when are you going to retire? I can't, I mean, I don't want to. I don't know if somebody wants me to, but I can't imagine not coming in every day, because I'm certain nobody's going to take care of them like I do. And I'm sure everybody could take care of them like I do, but
I don't know.
I'm pretty
I don't know.
possessive of that.
We live in a world where that's happening less and less,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But you're double downing on it. so.
Well, and until they get on my nerves to the point where I don't want to come to work, or until I'm really doing a crummy job, which I don't think I am, I'm going to be here.
Yeah.
And retirement paperwork looks like a lot. And so I just think dying at your desk sounds like a good. Let somebody else do the paperwork.
I've never heard that.
Just leave it to somebody else.
Yeah, I'm just going to sit there, and they'll step over me and be mad for not finishing something. But I don't know. There's nothing else. I don't want to retire and have to have another job, because I like the job I have.
Yeah.
So
And it's different in administration. You're not a coach. You're not as worried. You're worried about wins and losses, but it's the bigger picture. Well, you're not worried. I mean,
I don't get paid,
yeah.
fired or hired, because of wins and losses, and so that lets me take advantage of getting to know the kids.
Right.
And I've always said, my job lets me hang out with all the cool kids without being a creepy stalker.
Yeah, that's
so,
right.
So you do, and you develop those relationships. But I like to win just as much as everybody else. And I want every kid to have that opportunity to have a championship, because it's the best thing in the world. I mean, if you could bottle that feeling, you would never work again. But my job is not that. My job is keeping them happy, healthy, and wise. That's my job. And so, to be there for, I can't tell you how many breakups I've gone through in my office. Family deaths, things like that. I get to be there when they've had their worst day.
Yeah.
And to help them come back from that is so gratifying. I mean, I'm just so lucky. I've got the best job.
I didn't even want to get into this, but I recently heard a sermon about compassion. And sometimes people have compassion for something, but they don't know how to act. What can you do? If you fall down and I have compassion for you, I help pick you up. But beyond that, an actual action to help and prayer, the number one thing you can be is just there, is the gift of presence.
Yeah, you be there.
And that's what you have always done. You know that.
And my poor children, they got to be there too, growing up, know.
But no matter how hard it was,
no.
Danelle, you were there. And we've been through some I don't want to get into it here, but some very difficult things and situations.
Right.
And you were always there. So.
And I'm going to continue to be there until they don't want me there.
Yeah.
And so, it just, I can't say enough thank yous to the university for allowing me and for Phil Day and putting me into the position where I get to do what I do. And it was never on my radar. It wasn't what I was going to do. It's not what I went to college to do. So the fact that I fell into this and it has evolved into what it is just, it just blows me away. And the fact that it's been 30 years.
It kind of all worked out.
It did. I mean,
yeah.
God is a pretty good dude. He takes good care of me every day, even when I'm sure he shakes his head and says, come on, let's try it again today. But I feel like I got put where I needed to be and was allowed to stay. That doesn't happen. I've had several people that I've worked with are like, well, what do you want to do next? And I don't want to go anywhere.
Right.
And it's comfortable here. I know what I'm doing, but I love the kids, and I would feel like I was quitting on them if I ever left and went somewhere else.
Wow.
So I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Come from Colorado. All the way to UT Martin. Why? Like going from Colorado to Martin. I mean, that's a big jump.
It was a big jump. I was married to a football coach at the time when we ended up here, and I came here from Knoxville. And I will tell you, when Ashley was born in Knoxville because it was going to be free to have her at the Health Science Center in Knoxville, there I was going to have to come here. So I decided to stay behind when Drew took the job here. And I came out for the spring football game in April and drive all the way across the state with a 6-week-old. And it was a 2-lane road from Parker's Crossroads to Martin.
Yeah,
it wasn't a 4-lane
right.
at that time.
Yeah.
And I got here, and it was one of those gray West Tennessee days, where the wind was blowing and it was warm and it was miserable. And I looked at him and I said, you are crazy if you think I am going to move to this God's forsaken place. There is no way I'm coming here.
Yeah.
Well, we held off to Memorial Day, and we came Memorial Day in 1993. Ash was 3 months old, and we moved here. And then we moved away for a really brief moment, and then we came back. And
you really did go from living in the mountains to like across from a cornfield or a wheat field or whatever you're
well, it depends on what
soybean
year.
field.
It could be winter wheat, beans, or corn. Yeah. So, but it worked out pretty cool. I couldn't have, if it was left up to me, I would have messed it up every which way. But I mean. It was not on my radar, and it's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah, and 2 kids, her parents live here.
Yeah, my brother married a girl from here, so I'm working on getting my sister to move here, and then we'll have them all here, and it'll be great.
Wow.
Have the whole gang back
whole
together.
Family,
yes, that would be great.
That would be awesome. But athletics has always been part. My dad was a coach. He coached me. I ran cross country, if you can imagine that. And played volleyball for him, and he coached everything. And my brother's a coach, and we've all been involved in athletics for a long time. I just didn't realize that I was going to have a part in that
in a different way, though,
in a whole different way.
Because you were so comfortable around it and around athletes that it was. Again,
that's all I've ever known.
That was the perfect opportunity for you to make a difference.
And I have to give a big shout out to my parents, because my compassion for kids comes from my parents. They taught 34 years, both of them. And I watched them take care of kids for a really long time, and they've had some honors come about, and to spend time with people that they meant a lot to, and to hear what they say, I'm just really lucky, and I am a product of my parents.
Do you think if you went across the continental United States of America, 48 states, could you a person, a student athlete, you could stay at a house in almost every single state.
And several countries.
Yeah, no, I believe that. I mean, it would make a great documentary.
Well, it would, and I would love, now, if my lottery numbers would come in, or if I'd buy a ticket and have lottery numbers, I would love to do that, because my daughter, has a boyfriend in Scotland, and we're talking about going over there. And I said, well, if we go, we have to go long enough because I've got somebody here, and here.
Yeah.
And
a lot of
I
former
hope
tennis players, probably.
Tennis players, and
Yeah.
then I'm going to show up at a soccer game where Amy McGivern is playing, and
Oh,
I'm going to
nice.
surprise her if it kills me. I'm
Yeah.
going to do that. We have a lot of kids playing soccer overseas, and we have tennis players, and yeah, it was the neatest thing when my kids were little because I could give them the world because we had them here, and they were always so gracious to my children.
Yeah.
For sure. And so, yeah, it's been something. And you know, I've been to 49 of the 50 states. So
Oh, have you? What are you missing?
Oregon, of all things.
Well, Oregon.
And my best friend from high school
Yeah.
lives in Oregon, and we've
you
never
got to
been.
do that.
My kids need Washington, Alaska, and
You have to
Oregon.
do
So
Oregon.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
I'll
about
get you the Oregon Trail, the old computer game,
on
and
the big
figure it
floppy
out.
disk.
Yeah, and then
and that
you get
ugly
there.
yellow. Yeah, played that. Yeah,
I've
that would
played
be
that.
awesome.
You played
I played Oregon Trail.
I love
Yes.
Man,
Yes.
those are good old
Yeah.
days right there.
No, yeah,
Old
I played the
school
Oregon
video.
Trail.
No, it's
See,
amazing.
listen,
Did you
I'm-
make it to Oregon?
I'm not as young as I look, or
No.
I'm not as, I don't know. I'm
Reverse that.
Yeah. We're just going to leave it at
I
that.
love
Danelle
it.
explained it perfectly for me. But hey, talk about day-to-day life. What goes on in the day of Danelle, other than being on the podcast here?
Well, I get up very, very early and head to Walmart most days, and get
Yeah,
the
because you
food.
have like snacks and
Yeah, I
food for
feed
the
the
student
kids in
athletes.
the
yeah.
lab, and I get up early and stock the lab because I want it to be ready when they come in. And I wish I could tell you what I do because there are so many different little tasks that go on, but there's just a whole lot of anything that has a dollar sign comes through my office. Okay, if it's payroll, if we're buying things, if we're doing contracts, just I do all of that. But scattered in there, I get to fix a lot of problems, and so you know the kids come in and. I get to manage one of our NCAA funds that helps us help the kids. And so that means that at some point they find their way. And it's hard to tell kids what I do because I'm like, at some point before you graduate, you will have to find me for something. And I'll be here. And I'm a fixer, and I love to fix things. I love to fix things. And so
That fund, I don't know what it's called. We don't have time to talk about it, but it is amazing. But I can't imagine the different ways you probably help student athletes with that. And
Yeah,
just
well,
for them to get back home in an emergency, for them, whatever they need.
And we are really lucky, and I've talked to so many people about this because we feed our kids. We provide their school supplies, you know, their liability insurance so that they can go teach at schools, background checks, their medical stuff. But if they have an emergency, we can send a kid home straight away so that they can be went.
And it happens more often.
We
than,
just had a kid who just barely got home before her grandpa died.
Yeah.
You know, and things like that. And to be there to absorb that emotional distress and be able to fix that part of it, not only for the kid but for the family who is really, really struggling and trying to figure out how that can happen is really great. And we are so lucky because Kurt McGuffin allows us to spend that money on the kids. I mean, we use it strictly to help the kids, and we got a lot of kids to help. We had a visiting soccer team in town the other day. And there was a little girl trying to get something out of the vending machine. It wasn't working. And I said, "Are you hungry?" And she says, "Yeah, I'm just." And I'm like, "Come here." And I had just stocked the lab.
Yeah.
And so I got her a little snack, and she goes, "What is this?" And I said, "Well, we do this, you know, kind of as a refueling station for our kids every day." And she says, "We don't have that."
Wow.
And-
Yeah.
and I
was that
wanna-
your idea, or
Well,
yeah, kind of.
yeah, we started out really small. You know, we
I
had 3
remember.
computers
Yeah.
in what was Julius's office where he left. Okay,
Yeah.
we had 3 computers and a little file cabinet where we had some snacks and stuff, and it has just grown. And it some days when I'm in there stocking, I'm thinking, "Oh God, Danelle, what have you done?" But yeah, that was just one of the ways, and I'm just lucky that he allows us to spend money because other schools take that money to spend it on things that would really make me angry.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah. Understandable.
And so we take care of the kids.
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. Well, Danelle, thank you so much for coming on with us.
appreciate
This
it.
was fantastic. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we will have head coach of the UT Martin football team, Jason Simpson, join us here on Skyhawk Sports Talk.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk Podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
Davis Gregory here with me, Chris Brinkley. Final segment of the show as head coach of the UT Martin football team. Jason Simpson joins us, well rested after the bye week, Coach.
Well, I don't know about rested, but I'm excited about practice today. What did you do this weekend?
Oh, we had volleyball this weekend.
Yeah.
I watched football. It was a really good time.
Well, I was hoping that Kurt made you come over like the Elam Center and sweep up or
Sweep
something
the
like
floor,
that.
do
We're still trying to make up for that weekend that he was off.
For the one weekend that I was off. Well, okay, we got I think 2.5 hours from volleyball. So we'll work back up to it. I thought you were going to come on here and get me about not being there Thursday for film, but I didn't know we had film on Thursday. I'll be honest with you.
You could look at it one or two ways. Either I'm forgiving or my expectations aren't very high.
Well, that's a good one. I'm going to use that.
That's brutal, Coach.
Yeah.
Brutal. He's off to a hot
And
start.
the answer is up to you. Follow your conscience.
That's something my
love that.
mom would say to me. Oh, my gosh.
That's what we do.
Where
That's
do
what
you
parents
get all
do.
this stuff? Why have you been hiding this ability?
Well,
that you
Davis is just such a good guy.
Yeah.
See, if I do this to my kids, somebody starts crying, and they run into the room. So I appreciate you letting me be somewhat of a parent.
I
too.
can handle the heat,
There
Coach.
you go.
I can. I appreciate it, of course. So, bye week, I know you went up to Knoxville, and of course, coaches went out and recruited and everything. Just a quick recap on how that went for you all. I know the guys and you just mentally too, getting some rest, getting some naps in, and everything like that. I know that was a big thing.
Well, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday we had practice, and so we kind of had a skeleton crew there on the staff. I think myself and Coach and Kevin Bannon, a couple of the young student assistants, and then on defense, the coordinator Butcher and Coach Partridge. So so there was 2 and 2 on each side with some younger coaches, and then everybody else was on the road. And but I was very pleased with what we got accomplished Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and got some things done fundamentally and working toward Eastern Illinois. And then we had some young players who were able to get 10, 15 plays in full go. So that was good. And then the players got to take Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, and then they're back today. And
I have a question for you. So as a coach, you working with your assistant coaches, I mean, you teach football, X's and O's and this and that and game situations. How do you teach evaluating talent?
Yeah.
Because that's a gut thing. So how do you help young coaches know when they're on the road what they're looking for?
It used to be to where you kind of had time before the portal, right? You had more time to plan out, right? You were trying to be as detailed as you could of, ankle flexibility, hip flexibility. There was a size measurable that you tried to recruit to, and there's some players that always can break that, right? Because they're just good football players, and so that can kind of throw a wrinkle into it, but that's okay too. So when you sit in there. Let's say you're the running back coach, you're the receiver coach, okay? All right, but yet you've got an area, okay? You're recruiting the Atlanta area, all right? So, every player that you evaluated of an A, B, or C player, okay, you're sending those A's and B's to him as a receiver coach, okay? But don't send him one, and you have to put a grade on it as well as you send it to him. Now, him as the receiver coach, he is responsible for, collecting all of it, what he says is an A player and is a B player. Okay. So you're kind of able to see what he says is an A. Okay. Now, guess what? If you feel like we're missing one, you got to challenge him, or you got to bring it to the coordinator, the head coach, and say, I really think we need to go back and look at this kid's tape. I saw him break in person. So
there's an art to it, but you've created a science to it also.
Yeah, and it's still not foolproof because you don't.
Well, how many people see them in person?
That's the problem.
Okay.
No, that is the problem. Okay, because you don't have unlimited. Right now is an evaluation period, so you get one time. Okay, and if they didn't get to your camp, then you didn't actually get to see them in person except for the one person in the building, the one person on your staff. Mm-hmm. Okay, and how about this? Here's the wrinkle that goes with that now. December 4th is the signing date. Okay, so we play those high school plays. Okay, so in some cases you're asking, some high school players to sign with you that hadn't come on an official visit.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, and some will because they figured out the portal that you better sometimes grab a hold of what you got. Okay, or you can push it, and then I think it's something like the 9th through the 16th or so. So you got about a 2 week, week and a half window there when the portal's open, and they can still sign again. And it's still open to sign. So really, I don't know at the mid-major level and FCS level how many kids will actually sign. Not because they don't want to, because us as a staff, we're like, hey, we want to get you in here in person, not just on the tape. See if it's a good fit and things like that.
And even with the transfer portal, they might not have really gotten significant playing time during a game in years. And so then you're having to evaluate on what they did when they were at the college or practice.
Practice tape.
But you don't get to how do you get access?
They go and get their own tape and get it to you.
Okay.
No, it is certainly
that's a mess.
It's a science, but with mixed reviews.
Yeah.
And everybody's got their take on it. So it is very difficult. And you're doing all that now while you're planning for practice and putting your schemes together and making sure you got ready to play on Saturday. So it can be difficult. It was pretty neat. I sent a couple of our young student assistants down to Bama this past week. Where I had some contacts and said, okay, go see how they do their workload. They didn't go to practice. They just stayed with the recruiting staff. And, saw on a daily basis what they do. And they would go to the player personnel guide. Then they would go to the offensive recruiting guide. Nothing with X's and O's. All right. Got to sit in some staff meetings and different things. And they brought us back some different ideas, But there's a Power 5 team is different, right? Because they're doing, they're pretty much done with their 25s. Okay. They're on their 26s and 27s. Okay, so different problems or different. Their workload doesn't fit our workload, but even though they're a couple years ahead, right now maybe their quarterback coach is only having to call one guy, where we're maybe having to call 15 to 20.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to see where everybody will fall, what level of football will they fall to, and the wide receiver coach is having to call 30. And the offensive line coach is having to call 50 if you're going to sign, 3 or 4. So,
because ideally you would want to meet the person, meet their family, watch their practice tapes, watch their game tapes,
a
hang
whole
out
year,
with them.
whole year process, or at least starting in the spring.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't.
You can't do that anymore.
You try to do it, and you may get to do 1 out of 10. Like that. And then you're looking at your roster, right? And you're saying, okay, how many guys are graduating? Okay, 17, 18.
In what positions?
Okay, in what positions? But then how many are going to the portal? And then how many high school kids do you need to take? Because you still only got X amount of spots. You just don't know how many spots you're going to have.
It's like
open.
an ecosystem, and if you throw that balance off, you're in trouble maybe 2 years down the road.
And now you can fix it because you can be very good in the portal.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as the manager, as the head coach is, you got to decide, okay, next year's team first, the future second, okay? But do you never want to get it where I look at some of these teams and they're having to go and get, 50 plus new guys. I don't know how you do that. And some are having success, some do not. But that's hard.
It's a chemistry issue. But then you're dependent on some of the experienced players who know you and the system to help the younger players come into the system. Yeah. But if everybody's learning the system at the same time, I can't imagine.
That's what different excuses. What I see that, Bama lost when Coach Saban retired. They got like 26 or 28 players left the program. Okay, whether it be came out to the NFL, graduated, or portal. So 28 out of an 85-man roster, scholarship players. No, it's a different type of managing skills, and I think that's why all the games are close. It's very difficult. Georgia winning on the road this week. I mean, that was huge. But, a lot of those home field advantages are because the teams are just very comparable right now.
But whatever you're doing seems to be working.
For now.
Yeah. You've had to change. Yeah. You've had to evolve. And
and you evaluate and you look at it and you say, okay, here's the hard ones, okay? And I think I've mentioned this to you guys. When you lose one in the portal, okay, you sometimes, let's say it goes to Oklahoma or FIU like we've had, okay? You can't go get that same amount of production one-for-one player.
Right.
All right, is that
That's right.
Okay, it's very difficult. How to go find a 1,300-yard rusher? Now, sometimes you got a kid like Cheeks who found us. Okay, and says, I want those carries. Okay, all right, so that worked out okay. But we still took another one who's a good player. We're going to redshirt him this year, okay, because, how do you get that? There's 1,300 yards that somebody had to run for this year. Okay, well, because you couldn't go 1 for 1, so you take 2 running backs.
This is the Moneyball theory.
Yeah, it
I
is.
was about to say it sounds like
analytics.
Moneyball.
No,
It is. And, okay, so you take 2 in that spot. Well, then you can't take a high school player because you had to take 2 older guys to try to equal that production.
Right.
All right? And it's hard, man, to pass up good high school players. You're like, that one wants to come, but we don't have a spot. Okay, because we took the 2 older guys because we needed them to line up and play this year in order to be, boy, that hurts me. That hurts me to let those good high school players go. But
they're ultimately hurt by the transfer portal.
Oh, 100%. Oh, if you're not a 4 or 5 star guy, okay, it didn't affect those guys that much coming out of high school. Now it will affect them once they get to college, right? But then the next group, who traditionally, would go to Memphis, would go to Arkansas State, would go to MTSU, those guys are on hold right now, depending on how many portal guys those mid-majors take.
Yeah.
All right. And then now we're waiting on the vote, should be anytime this month, of whether or not the scholarship limit, it's going to go to 105, right, from 85 to 105. But by conference, I think they get to decide, will we 105 scholarships or will we just keep it at 85 or 90? Okay, even though we can only have 105 in the building, all right? You say, well, what is that? How does that affect you guys? Well, where it affects is if everybody takes another 20 scholarship players and you do that time 100 schools, okay, where are those players coming from? Are those the players that we're trying to get, the high school players, or are they the ones out of the portal, or is it a mix of it?
Yeah.
Okay, but that can – there's a lot of players moving around right there if they're able to scholarship. Now, what teams were doing were 85 scholarship, and then they were NIL and, 10, 15 other ones.
Yeah.
And still getting it to that point, and that's kind of why this rule is coming into play. But if they're actually able to scholarship 20 more players times 100 schools, if they could afford it, then it's good. It's good for maybe high school players because there's more opportunities.
Yeah, but still, you could come in as a pretty good high school player, and back in the day, you're a freshman, and you just gradually get better, and by the time you're a junior or senior, you're better. Well, you could go into a program, and you could always have the least amount of experience on that team because of the transfer portal.
Oh, 100%.
You could never be at the top where you thought you would be just by staying at the same place.
Oh, 100%. And they will never – that's why Vanderbilt's good. They were able to go out and get a quarterback.
Yeah.
And everybody's able to do that, and which because there's been some years you say, our quarterback got hurt. Well, they're going to have 2 sitting right there because of the portal. You're not going to let yourself not have 2 guys ready to go. So it's different. I think it makes the games in some aspects better. I think it makes the I don't see it being a dynasty, anymore because the other teams are able to do some different things to offset it now. So, it is, and I concentrate more on what it does to us. And what it does to us is you just have to understand that you're going to lose some, and you're going to gain some. But the mortar guys in between, the Josiahs, we got Vance from the portal. What a great addition, he was the 2 years he's been here. But having Drake, and Josiah with him have made him that much better of a player, in my opinion. So,
what it's done really is it's made your job a lot more complicated.
No, yeah, I guess you can look at it like that. And because it's all new.
Yeah.
If this is the way it's been done for 25 years, you'd have your little niche and know all the pitfalls of it. I think all of us on a daily basis understand. This is new. This it's different. This year, some of the places, the Power Fives, right, are having to kind of salary cap them. How do you get it if they do give them a number? Then they say, okay, you can spend this much money on this year's team, whether it's your NIL or your school, however they orchestrate it, or the NCAA. Then it's like NFL. right? Okay, what are we willing to pay this backup receiver, this backup quarterback, this backup offensive lineman? What are we going to slot these guys at? Which I guess you have to do. The money doesn't go forever. It's not
it should
unlimited.
Create parity, right?
And that's what you see every week. You turn it's like NFL. Like I said, it's very difficult to go win on the road, and so it is unique, guys. It is, and I just want to try to make sure as the manager that we're not spinning our wheels. We're moving forward, but we're not just doing work because that's the way we've always done it. And like I can tell you some things that have changed for sure. The visits, 24-hour visits. If you've got a third-year guy, why would we want to bring? NCAA says you can bring him on your camps for 48 hours. Well, we don't have time. If we've got a 2-week window and we're trying to fill 15 to 20 spots, okay, we have to get them in and get them out because there's another guy flying in 12 hours.
Yeah.
That's certainly changed when it comes to it. Looking at your roster, knowing how many by position that you need, that's not a given anymore based on graduation. But, one thing we've done is we said, okay, we're going to always take at least 2 high school defensive linemen and 3 high school offensive linemen because we feel like you have to grow that position up because it's an over-recruited position because, we'll see players – and we'll say, that guy's going where? Because they needed a third-team D lineman or, he had some size, but his body didn't move right, but they had to have somebody. So you'll see those positions over-recruited or recruited up, I guess is a better way to say it, than probably what their actual ability is. Now, most time it works out to where we were right. We're like, we told you he wasn't good enough to play there. But, they'd rather take a 6'5" guy. Maybe he doesn't have to play at all. But but those are 2 positions where guys go up.
It's like insurance.
Yeah. No, that's a great way to say it too. So those are things going on as we get ourselves ready to play.
Yeah, and recruiting and everything like that. But also, I think you talked about it. Young players getting some major reps during the bye week, and also coaches being able to develop too and grow in their categories as well. For you as a young coach, was this the time where you got time to be able to have a little bit more command of a group and learn more? And is this a time where some of your coaches get that as well and players too?
Well, no, I was, as a young coach, till I became a coordinator, I was always out on the road recruiting. I mean, until you learn the X's and O's and stuff, that's kind of your role is go get players, evaluate players and stuff. And then I guess I've been a head coach since I was 34. So, but I really enjoy, like tonight we have Monday Night Football. Okay, and that's where, the guys that don't get to play a whole lot or any or a lot, okay, we'll go 10 to 15, plays. And that's not a whole lot, right? That's 2 or 3 drives. Okay, but it is tackle, and I really enjoy those players get excited about it.
Yeah.
Because they're older players or get excited about it because a lot of them, Chris Hunter and Tevin Shipp and Josiah, they were Monday Night Football guys too. And so you see them kind of hooping and hollering and, ragging on each other of what somebody's what they would be rated on Madden football because they're able to score, or whatever the games are and stuff, or what their PFF grade is because last week they caught a touchdown in the Monday Night Football. So I enjoy that.
I just heard something that there's this loop. I think you and I might have talked about it before, but you have this belief and then you have potential and then you take an action and you get a result. And if your result is what you want, your belief's a little higher, your potential's higher, your action's bigger, and then a higher result. And that Monday night, it's where it raises their belief and their potential because they're taking the action to actually get to do something in a game situation.
No, that's a great way to say it. I'm not as smart as how you just verbalized it, but no.
But if you've never done it, it's hard to believe it.
Yeah, and I'm actually, I'm straight up with the guys. I say, listen, guys, this is the first clips that I watch on Tuesday morning when we come in, okay? I'm looking at offense and defense and seeing, okay, whose body's moving right, whose technique has improved, whose foot speed's improved, what quarterback can throw and catch a little bit, all right? And then the reasons for it is this: who will be a number 2 next week or 3 next week, who could play in 2 or 3 weeks from now, okay? And how many receivers do I need to go sign? Okay, can I count on that guy to be in a spot, or is he not ready for it yet? And we're going to have to sign guys on top of him, like you were referring to, because what he showed on Monday night just wasn't ready to beat Eastern Illinois on Saturday. Can I see it looking like that next year? If not, then you've got to go get some other guys. So, I say this is important. These 15 plays are very important to your
It's important for the coaches as it is the players.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
No, it's not just for morale. It's for morale and development and business decisions.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Eastern
Monday nights,
yeah.
that's it.
It is.
I never would have thought Monday night would be that
The
important.
Monday Night Football theme song comes out, comes on, so everybody's kind of hyped up, but it's fun.
Get everybody ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, big one on Saturday, another conference game.
Yeah.
Eastern Illinois, and they had a really good season last year, but have been off to a tough start this season. 1-6, 0-3 in the conference, and coming off a 41-17 loss at Tennessee State. But they bring back their quarterback, who was all conference last year, Pierce Hawley. Also get their running back, who was a freshman last year, MJ Flowers. He's back, and then Elijah Tolbert on the defensive end.
Yeah.
I mean, they've still got some good talent. What have you seen on film, Coach?
If you didn't tell me the record, I would say same team as last year, okay? And it is. They had 10 of 11 starters back. Was it on offense, I believe? 10 of 11 starters back on offense. Quarterback's back. I think it was preseason. Was he player of the year preseason?
I think so.
Player of the year, yeah. I think I voted for him. And right now he's still throwing for almost 250 yards a game. They're second in the league in passing. Okay, that concerns me. And defensively, they got a good scheme. Their defense coordinator, they lost a couple guys on the staff that went, and that just shows you how the ecosystem is, how temperamental it can be. Okay, 10 of 11 starters back on offense and your quarterback. A lot of players returning on defense. A lot of excitement. Okay, a defensive staff, couple guys. The guy got the head coach. The offensive coordinator got the Western Illinois job, and the defensive coordinator got the Southern Miss defensive coordinator job, and took a guy with him too. All right. It could get better, it could get worse, but it doesn't stay the same.
Right.
And they've had some struggles. They've had some leads in some games and blew it. Okay, but they played tight with several teams, but they're not where they want to be. But it's a dangerous game for us because I've got to convey that message of they're second league in passing. Okay, so therefore at any time and we're really good against the run. Okay, so therefore some throws are coming, a lot of throws. The team knows how to throw the football. And if we prepare like, we take them for granted, we'll have a problem because of how they throw the football. And, every game they've been in with a chance to win it. And they won those games last year. They won 8 games last year. And so, and they had a week off just like we did. Okay, so it's not like they're limping in here. They've had a week to prepare. But, and that's just the way my eyes look at it. Okay, that doesn't mean I'm not confident. That doesn't mean that I don't believe in our players or anything like that. But my job is to make sure that hey, this is real. You don't have to say anything when it's SEMO. I didn't have to say anything that week. Okay, I won't have to say anything when it's Tennessee State, right? Because they're 6-2 right now. Okay, but it's human nature, right, to go. Oh, okay, they're 1-6. We're good. No, guys, it's the same team. You had to go to overtime and got lucky. To be honest with you, the way we played, we didn't play very well on offense. And they screwed up the 2-point conversion. Okay, for us to come out of there, with the win. So, it'll test our maturity. Okay, we were very mature with Western Illinois. Western Illinois beat Tennessee Tech this past week, handily. Played well. Gardner Webb. Okay. Beat who was it? Charleston Southern? No. Who did Gardner Webb beat? They scored 40-something points. Lindenwood. Beat Lindenwood, scored 40-something points. So this 3-game stretch that we've had of wins, right? We've been very mature. Okay, hadn't played perfect, but our mindset's been good, and we prepared and we went and competed. We got to do that this week.
100%. Last home game before you get 2 road games. Tennessee State, you talked about them, and Charleston Southern, a flight there, and then you wrap up 2 games at home. This is still a long season and a long way to go to the finish line. But what have you learned about this team so far, and what are some things you're looking for them to improve on?
I'd like to see some bigger plays on offense. Okay, and I think that makes us hard to defend because of our ability to be able to run the ball. But eventually, right, I went to, like you referred to, I went to the Bama game this week. They had a run of 11 and a run of 7. Guys, it's hard to put all those 12 and 13 play drives together and score.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to flip the field and get some bigger play to take some pressure off of your field position. And so, whether it be in the run or the pass, okay, but we need some bigger plays. That's, I, as a play caller, got to try to put us in those situations and get the kids to execute at a high level to do those things. Now, big plays can come from, hitches.
Mm-hmm.
You can break a tackle. Big plays can come from runs, where you make the safety miss, okay? But there's other times where the ball's got to go down the field, okay? And you need to, need to throw it well, protect well, go make the plays. So those things need to happen. Other things that I see, right, need, play better against the pass, okay? But understand when you stone the run, right, you're going to get a ton of different pass plays against you.
Yeah.
Okay. You just got to try. You're going to complete some passes, so you got to rally and tackle. You got to, okay, if you want to throw it, eventually we're going to sack your quarterback and get you off schedule. Okay. So those are some different things I want to see us do.
Mm-hmm. Eastern Illinois again this Saturday, going to be on ESPN Plus and the Skyhawk Sports Network. And Coach, you talked about, before we let you go, you talked about being at the Alabama game.
Yeah.
You had, first of all, was everyone nice to you?
You know what?
I didn't send any texts.
No.
I didn't let anyone get on your case. I said,
well,
listen, take care of it.
First of all, I threw your name around, and no luck. Dude.
Nothing.
Are you sure Davis is your given name?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
None of the 102,000 people knew this guy.
Not a single one.
I was trying everything I could, but
Okay.
no, it was great. What a good college game. They have a great atmosphere. I was laughing to myself because there's there were several different Martin friends that I have and family friends and stuff that we have that are great supporters of ours that were there.
Right.
Okay. And then there were some fans that there were some Knoxville fans that were there from here that I want them when Knoxville doesn't have a home game. Okay. I want you here at ours. I challenge you to come here to ours. If they're out of town, come to ours. You can watch their game on your phone, okay? Mm-hmm. And I want and my job is to put a quality product on the field that they some for entertainment value for them, something to be proud of. That's Martin. You live in the town of Martin. You were here in Weakley County. You live in Weakley County, and probably some way we all benefit from the increased enrollment here at UT Martin, right? We all benefit from the tax dollars that's brought in from a good game, or families coming in as they visit UT Martin, not just in football, but as potential students and stuff. So we all benefit from it. This is, my daughter's getting a degree from University of Tennessee at Martin. I'm very proud of that. And so, I challenge them to come be a part of us on a Saturday that they're not going to.
Well, there just aren't a lot of events in Martin where thousands of people come together for one thing. You give us that in every home game throughout the football season.
Well, that's my role. Yeah. And, the basketball coaches they get their role, but my role is on those 5 and 6 Saturdays. And, I hope people are proud of what we do here. 3 conference championships in a row, a ranked team. No, it's not in front of 100-something thousand, okay, but there's not many places in the country that it is like that.
Right.
Okay, so
right.
I challenge.
Well, it is to us, though. I mean, it is to Martin.
No, it is to me. I've told you, it's my Super Bowl every week.
Yes.
And I'm proud of that. And so.
So Davis, it's on you, buddy.
Look, you've got the style. You're plugged into that day. Matter of fact, Alex, can we do some type of study with his, with his age group or whatever? I want to see our increase in attendance because they relate to him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. If not, maybe we need to go a little older and connect to that.
So the
that
10
age
to
group.
14-year-olds have to show up at our game.
Yes.
I'm kidding.
We were doing so good.
I'm a bad influence
You
on
are.
Davis. I'm sorry, man.
It's spreading. But no, what I was going to talk to you about the Alabama game is it's like Miss Simpson posted a picture of you on Facebook. You always wear the sweatshirt and a visor. If I see you without
Somebody
a visor
asked
on,
me if you wear that to church.
Nope. I do take the hat off. But I did have on a Bama visor this week.
You did.
I had on a UTM shirt. Okay.
And the visor.
But you know what? Like I said, I don't ever really wear anything to support Ty, and so I was like, well, okay.
If I ever see you at a game and you don't have a visor on, I'm gonna just feel like this is
Gilligan
illegal.
wore the same clothes.
First, don't have your feelings hurt if I don't speak to you. Okay. If it's not at a Martin game. Okay. I don't mean too much by it. I'll see you at work on Monday.
He's got to have a visor on.
Yeah.
He does. It fits.
For a long time I was superstitious that I would only wear like the full hat on sideline. Okay, and I mean for probably the first 15, 16 years here, I always wore one of those white hats or the blue. Remember the khaki hats we had?
I love those.
Those are good.
The Snickers font that had UT.
Well, but there was one before that had the UT had
yeah.
our old logo,
Yeah.
the 06 logo
I have
and stuff.
one of those, yeah.
And so those were great. And then, but in practice, I always just wore a visor because it was hot or whatever. And then one game I was scrambling to do, and I think I forgot a hat. But I had a visor on and I wore it. I think we had a good day on offense, and I was like, okay. And so anyway,
and it's stuck ever since. That's where the story of the visor comes in.
So that's what's happening. Not because I think I'm spurry or anything like that. I promise you.
The old ball coach. That's what it is.
I'm impressed that you even knew who that was.
Yes.
Yeah,
Come on now.
Did you see what he said the other day? He was doing something about Florida. And he's standing there, and he's always got those one-liners and the quick whip, but he kind of threw it back on the Gators, and I think he said something about, maybe this week we'll take care of the football. Maybe we won't turn it over. There's no telling what he would say about it.
Well, you best him in your zingers. I will say that.
Well,
you got him beat there.
What was he? I mean, he used to have them all the time. He was
good. He was quotable.
He was very quotable.
Very quotable. Well, Coach, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck on Saturday.
Guys. Let's get a win this week, man.
Yes, absolutely.
4 in a row. Get to 3-1 in the conference.
And Mom's going to be here.
It's family
Saturday.
Yep.
Well, you know what? I need her. I need her to raise some energy in that stadium, man.
She'll bring the juice.
Okay, and you bring juice, she brings juice. All right, let's go this week.
Okay, let's go. We're fired up. We're ready to go. Coach, thanks so much for your time.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk Podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.
And that'll do it here for another episode of Skyhawk Sports Talk. Davis Gregory and Chris Brinkley wrapping things up. Another great week and another great week ahead of Skyhawk Athletics. Number 1 Auburn in town.
Wow.
Football not homecoming, rather family weekend.
Yeah.
Great time for our families to come see their kiddos going in college and everything like that, and get to take them to a football game. What a great experience for them. And then also soccer has senior day too. My good, what a great week that we've got going.
Yep. Go to utmsports.com for the calendars. Follow the Skyhawks on social media. Come and see us here at Zaxby's on Mondays, and we'll do it again next week.
Absolutely. Well, for Chris Brinkley, myself, Davis Gregory, and all of our coaches that have joined us today, we thank you all so much for tuning in. God bless from Zaxby's.
If I quit this season, I still be the greatest.
Skyhawk Sports Talk Podcast is brought to you by Weekly Ford Nissan.